Hello and welcome back, Exiles, to an update video for the Spectral Helix Trickster. This one is a overview and conclusion, unfortunately. As you can see from the thumbnail, I did experience Spectral Helix, and I did realise why it is not so used anymore. It is really quite an incredibly janky skill. Not particularly fun to use in any way, shape or form, unfortunately. The damage itself of the skill is actually quite good. I was baited a little bit during the campaign because of the stationary nature of a lot of the bosses in the campaign. It did lend quite well to Spectral Helix. Specifically, Katava was a bit of bait for me because it seems to go down quite quickly with like very little gear. So there was a bit of hope in the campaign that even though it wasn't super fun to play, it was almost like a bit of a diamond in the rough skill, and I was like, maybe this could actually be playable. However, when I did eventually push through the campaign and get into the maps, I did realise there were many flaws with the skill, and I wasn't interested in playing something that felt so unfun to play. And on top of the fact that I hadn't played an evasion-based character in so long, I forgot how it felt when you first went into maps with like less than 70% evasion, and you're just getting one shot by literally everything. It doesn't help that obviously with the lanterns, there are a lot more difficult mobs, a lot more high damaging mobs on the actual maps, which obviously didn't help. But it did require a couple of changes to the build. The first one was a respect to iron reflexes. That got me about 50% physical damage reduction, which actually stopped me from being one shot in the initial first few maps. On the very first day where there were just loads of server issues, I tried a bone crypt for the first time, and I just kept getting one shot, and I kept DCing, I kept not being able to stay in the map, and I actually just quit for that day, just due to the absolute boredom that this skill is, unfortunately. I did come back the next day and then rethink the build a little bit, and I played with Spectral Helix a bit more. I did buy an Oro Sacrifice and accidentally 5-linked it, and then I tried getting my setup together with proper smite, with just fortify instead of damage, which I've been using for the campaign, and I was completely starved for a lot of bubblegum currency, specifically chromatics, so the best thing I could do was just get a red link for smite and fortify. And honestly, one of the things that really put me off of Spectral Helix was the fact that one link smite was dealing so much more damage, and it got to the point where a lot of the time I was just smiting through maps, and I was just smiting through maps, and that wasn't really the skill I wanted to play, but in comparison it was a lot better. So I did decide to pivot to Spectral Throw to try and salvage this specific build, because like I said, even though this was a life variant, the initial goal of this was an Energy Blade build, and I wanted to try and pivot to Spectral Throw just to see if I could find a bit more enjoyment in it and hopefully take it a bit further. But Spectral Throw felt a lot better. However, it really just wasn't up to par for like actual fun PoE gameplay. I've never been a big fan of projectile attacks, but I feel like they're kind of out of vogue right now, and it does make it a little bit boring to play, in my opinion. So yeah, I did kind of abandon the build around yellow maps. I really just couldn't I really just couldn't find the energy to put the effort into the build. And I realised that I really just wanted to move on, and so I started playing around in Path of Building. with a couple other builds, and I found some interesting things. I'm not sure what my next one is going to be. It's either going to be minion based or spell crit based. I'm not sure as of yet. I'll probably just kind of spin a wheel and see what it lands on, and then do something similar to that. I think as for the 0 to hero aspect of this, like series and idea, I think I sort of had my fill of the actual 0 to hero challenge with the chieftain. That was a lot of fun, and I feel as though for 0 to hero I need to have a stronger base of builds that I actually want to play, instead of sort of experimenting with it, because it just makes it so much more difficult to actually experiment with things. So I think for now, what I want to do going forward is I want to try and discover builds for each class that I actually enjoy playing with very low currency. Something for each class, maybe even each ascendancy, in the very long term. Just to, again, the goal of these videos is to increase my knowledge of PoE in specific, to like be able to make those more strange builds and make them work, and eventually be able to actually play an Energy Blade Spectral Helix and make it work and not get burned out because it's just not moving as fast as I'm used to. That in the long run, that is the goal. But for now, I think I want to just be able to actually have fun with builds and move forward in that direction, instead of like sort of really struggling to even make it through maps and just sort of like lose that joy that Path of Exile sort of brings. So yeah, like I said, I will definitely at some point do another 0 to hero series, but upcoming now, I'll probably just be doing some strange builds with a bit of currency behind them, so I can actually learn a little bit more. I may do a bit of a diary on just a very strong, simple build that gets me some currency in the Necro Settlers League, and then move on to some more advanced builds. That'll probably be what I do actually, because I did enjoy the reset, so I will probably lean more towards that. However, yeah, I just wanted to put this out there that unfortunately for now, the Spectral Helix is unfortunately going to be binned, and I'm going to be restarting that. Yeah, anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a really great league restart, and I'll see you in the next video, which should just be in just a few days, now that I feel a bit more motivated to actually play. Ciao, Exiles.